Today, I'd like to talk to you about being your best professional self. But first, I'm gonna show you a picture of my dog because she's cuter than I am. I mean, look at that face. This is Lola, my 0 to 100, invades your personal space, 7-year-old pup. And while Lola makes up a very big part of my personal life, I never dreamt that she could actually be part of my professional world. But last spring, she became the mascot of my online courses, changed the way in which I connect to students, and helped me be at peace with who I am as a professional. I began my career in higher education 8 years ago, teaching freshman writing. And while in my mind, I was the teacher version of the Incredible Hulk, my colleagues quickly reminded me that I was indeed the height and weight of a 15-year-old girl, and suggested that I do something to make myself look more assertive and aggressive, or else risk being eaten alive by my students. Plagued with this thought of my first day of class turning into a scene from The Walking Dead, I decided I should take them up on this advice. At 23, I did everything in my power to look older and wiser than I actually was. I wore neutral-colored slacks, high heels, wore button-down collared shirts. I even took my personality completely outside of the classroom. And this whole teachers should be welcoming thing, yeah, I didn't do that. My syllabus wasn't so much of a warm introduction to the course as it was a barrage of rules written in this Dolores Umbridge-like tone. I even had my students acknowledge they read the thing by turning in the final page, albeit they could sign in pen, not in blood. But here's the thing. I never did anything with those slips of paper. I didn't save them. I didn't take them out, point to the signature when a student said that they didn't know an assignment was due and say, "Liar, you knew that annotated bibliography was due on the 16th. No, I didn't do any of those things because the truth is, all I did was take all of those slips of paper and throw them promptly into the recycling bin after class. While some faculty can naturally rock out the assertive angle, I cannot. I mean, let's be honest here. I watch SpongeBob in my spare time and enjoy it. I wear bright-colored pants. Heels make my feet hurt, and button-down shirts, they just make me cringe. I like my hair short and a little bit messy. Challenge excites me, kind honesty suits me, and the opportunity to get out of bed each morning and build meaningful relationships with students just keeps me in higher education. Yet I kept this assertive angle up for years. The result? Students who needed the most help didn't get it because, shocker, they didn't find me approachable. 2 events changed the way in which I present myself professionally. First, I took a job as an academic intervention advisor. Every day, I had the privilege of talking with students who were at risk for failing out of the university about their academic challenges. And what I learned quickly was that these students didn't need some harsh disciplinarian wagging an academic finger in their faces. They needed a welcoming advocate. These students, they either didn't know how to navigate higher education or they were too intimidated to try. Some were the first in their family to attend college, while others just had so many personal difficulties happening that they couldn't concentrate on their academic work. What these students taught me was the importance of being myself. These students really influenced me and helped me realize that in order to help other people, I needed to connect with them in an authentic level. The second event that took place was in the fall of 2015. I was teaching an online freshman writing course, and mid-semester, my enrollment dropped from what was 22 to 15. I needed a different way to connect with online students, but I just really wasn't sure how to do it. That's when one of my colleagues introduced me to strengths-based leadership. While most professional development models focus on deficit remediation, strengths-based leadership takes this fix your weaknesses approach and totally flips it. Strengths-based leadership suggests that when we focus on our natural talents and what we are good at and grow those natural talents into strengths, that's when we are our best self. This model suggests that worker productivity can increase when employees are given the opportunity to grow what they're good at into strengths. This idea of taking what I already have and working on that instead of contorting myself into the professional I thought I should be changed the way I view myself as an employee. So here I was. I had this challenge. I knew that I needed to fix it, and I knew I wanted to use my strengths in order to do so. So I decided to drop the academic facade. I decided that in order to connect with students on a more meaningful level, I should do what I do best. I was going to build relationships with my students and connect with them through kindness, honesty, laughter, and straightforwardness. And Lola was going to help me do it. So I got to work. I incorporated memes into my news items. News items are just kind of announcements in the online environment. I used trending topics to introduce writing theory. And I used Lola wherever I could when I needed to communicate with students. The result was pretty cool. This is the introduction to my online course from last spring. And I do this type of introduction all the time. I ask my students to post a picture of themselves that describes them. And this isn't uncommon in the online learning environment. In fact, I used this exact same prompt last fall with pretty mediocre results. But in the spring, I did something different. Instead of posting an academic picture, the super professional one where you have your jacket and everything looks great, I decided to post a picture of myself that showed a little bit about who I was. So I posted two things. One, a picture of myself with coffee, and two, a picture of Lola. These are my two loves in life. Sorry, husband. And what I found was by sharing this very small personal detail of my life, my students started showing very intimate details of theirs. They posted pictures of their passions and their hobbies. And without me asking, a good majority of them posted pictures of their pets. My favorite, by the way, was a pet bunny named Cookie Dough. What I learned from all of this is the things that I thought would be disadvantages in the classroom, kindness and laughter, were actually huge advantages when connecting to students. And so what I hope you take away from this talk is this: that space where professional standards and your personal strengths collide, that's where your best professional self thrives. So how do you get to that space? There are two ways. First, start by reflecting on your personal strengths. Take a strengths assessment. There are a couple of them. StrengthsFinder is one, Values in Action is another one. If you don't want to take a strengths assessment, just start asking people around you what your strong suits are. Ask your friends, bosses, coworkers, etc., what they think you excel at. They'll tell you. Reflect on the characteristics that make you happy and the skills that make you proud. All of these things will start pointing to your strengths. Once you've kind of got a good grasp of what you're good at, incorporate those strengths into your professional world. This starts by reframing your brain to think less about what you are lacking and more about what you already have. Instead of fixating on weaknesses, focus on your strengths to manage those weaknesses. Instead of being apathetic or negative when something doesn't go right in the workplace, think about how you can use your strong suits to make that go or work better in the future. Once you've kind of reprogrammed your brain to think in this matter, it's easy to put these strengths into practice. Start by, instead of waiting for your boss to give you tasks, ask to be part of a project that you know will show off your strong suits. Don't just partake in any professional development. Go to classes, workshops that build your talents. Be picky. Instead of having somebody turn you into the professional they want you to be, find a mentor that will take your natural talents and turn them into marketable strengths. And finally, if you are in an environment that doesn't honor your strengths or lets you practice them, consider leaving that environment. All of these tips take time. It took me 8 years to do it. But try them out and let me know how it works for you. Lola and I will be waiting to hear from you. Thank you.